Hello and welcome everyone to TYTSports, a live production. As you could tell, Michael Schur is here. Michael, thank you for coming back once again. Glad we could put it to film.
That would be great. If so, just want to remind people to push record.
Okay. Giving the intern a hard time. Chauncey, we love you. And this guy is here as well. So the Boston Red Sox won the World Series 3 times now in 10 years.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. My bad. Oh, by the way, so you don't waste your time with the post-game ceremonies, you could say. Let's pull up the tweets very quickly. Some of the best ones that I saw on Twitter. What I love about Twitter is that we could all share the experience together without having to, sit with you and watch the game, like right next to me. So here is one of the finer moments, as Jimmy Trana says. Jesus, bud, it's a microphone, not a pudding pop. All right, keep going.
Okay, so I follow that guy.
John Butchergross tweeted this out of Bobby Valentine. All right, well done. I like that. Joe Sheehan, this is great. John Lackey, Brandon Workman, Koji Uehara, closing out the World Series. Basically, nothing we write in the offseason matters. It was well done. And then Herb Lawrence, best one of all, 69 and 93 to World Series champions is pretty special. Indeed, it is. They have undergone a lot. Oh, and here we go. This is the best one of all, arguably. John Lackey now 1 in 119 lifetime in winning leave me in arguments with his manager. He won that one in the 6th inning.
This is my guy.
Yeah.
This is my guy.
Yeah. He did win the first one, though.
He did, but he walked Matt Holliday, and then he got taken out.
Yeah, but they got out of it. So, I don't like John Lackey, so I would.
Why? Because he played for the Angels, and you don't like the Angels.
No, he was an Angel,
fans?
but I mean, he was an unlikable guy. He was incredibly aggressive. The A's had a number of fights with him. I mean, it's not because I'm an A's fan that I liked him. It's because I paid ridiculously close attention to those games. He's like, you see it in him. He's a disagreeable sort, and he was disagreeable, and he was incredibly irritating in the year when the Red Sox struggled down the stretch.
Yeah.
But look at the passion, Ben.
Yeah,
That's
But
his
even
guy.
after
it's
the
my
game,
guy.
I didn't love him after the game last night. I don't know as much. I don't know him as intimately as Ben.
I mean, I don't know him at all. He might be the best guy.
I don't. What I mean is, I haven't followed his career as closely. But he didn't endear himself.
I can guarantee if you follow, you'd be like John Lackey.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
I mean, Dustin Pedroia. First of all, I can't believe he made an error. He's perfect. He's perfect. He's never done anything wrong. I feel about Dustin Pedroia the way that Michael felt about Brett Favre.
I didn't know how he felt
Michael
about Brett
hates
Favre.
I can't stand Brett Favre. I think he's the luckiest good player in the history of sports.
Right,
Okay.
and I think that
I'm noting that to talk about it another time.
Dustin Pedroia, it's not his, and I used to argue this with Michael. I don't think Michael agrees, but I used to argue that the reasons why Michael hates Brett Favre, while understandable, they're mostly not Brett Favre's fault. But the manner in which people talked about Brett Favre was absurd.
It's nauseating.
And the way they talk about Dustin Pedroia is nauseating. He is not the first guy to get his frickin' uniform dirty.
Oh, did you hear what McCarver and Buck said? That that's a guy that could play in any generation. So Carlos Beltran can't play in any generation?
No, he couldn't.
There was a generation where he wasn't allowed.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, totally.
White flag. White flag.
So yeah,
literally.
I can't bear it, and the way they talk about him, and the way they don't obviously those guys aren't racist, but the man, it's like I thought we'd a little bit moved past the Marty Barrett. He just gets his uniform dirty and he dives around. And he's awesome. He's going to be a manager. And Joe Morgan, man, that guy. Great talent.
Yeah, he was
great
good.
talent,
He
great
was good.
swing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Good teammate.
What, right? So I mean, I'm so maddened by it. They didn't try harder. Boston didn't deserve it more. I mean, the city also. Terrible things have happened to a lot of it's just that story fit in. Look at these tough, grizzled, workman-like gazillionaires.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what this is. And I just hate the way they sort of buy into that story and then repeat it and grind it to death as if the A's, Tigers, Cardinals, Reds, and everybody else.
I mean, separating it from the year that Boston had, which, God bless them, they had a terrible year. It was a terrible thing that happened in the city. It's nice that they could celebrate, et cetera, et cetera. But you're right. I mean, the idea that there's something sort of like, bad news bearsy about this team, that they're just this, this scrappy bunch of
Totally.
playing against everybody else who's exactly the same. And yes, they do make $1 million. And also, it's not like they're the first people to grow beards. The New York Islanders started growing beards in the playoffs.
I mean, you are the epic beard man.
But truthfully, I mean, it's as if they invented the playoff beard, and so in sports legend now, that's where it's going to sit, and that's not fair either.
The 69 and 93 to this, it's not the same as that used to be. This is a team with nearly unlimited resources. and the ability
Totally.
that they have to go from 69 and 93 to this is so much easier than most other teams. It's still good, and Ben Cherington picked exactly the right guys almost every offseason move.
By the way, he just graduated high school.
Yeah.
Ben Cherington.
And surprisingly, and that, I mean, that's you're right, but I mean, you know, when you heard in the offseason they got Johnny Gomes and David Ross, they've clinched it. You know? That's not where you went. You know, so it's
Johnny Gomes is really good.
Yeah, Johnny Gomes is good, and he's a cancer survivor, and that's kind of cool. And David Ross, I guess, does something right.
It's not related to Cody Ross.
He's not
by the
related
way.
to Cody Ross.
Can we pull up the pictures very quickly? Both Sox won, and then these are fantastic pictures. I saw.
David Ross,
off
very
of Getty
quickly,
Images.
by the way, I was listening on the radio to MLB radio, and the host this week had done an informal poll in the offseason or 2 seasons ago when Mike Matheny got hired without previous managerial experience. And he said a bunch of his sources around baseball, small poll, 10, 15 guys, who's the next Mike Matheny? Who's a player guy now who can just has it in him to manage? And the only person who got more than one mention was David Ross,
Really?
who is widely thought of as a great baseball mind and will quickly be a manager. He's an incredibly personable guy.
He is, yeah. No, I've liked him. I don't know. I've owned him like 74 times in fantasy baseball and dropped him, I guess, 75 times. But
So David Ortiz, by the way, World Series MVP.
always a twin to me.
Rightfully so.
Career twin.
Rightfully so.
He'll go to the Hall of Fame as a twin.
I think so.
Well deserving over John Lackey, John Lester.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
David
for
Ortiz
sure.
is the unanimous. You can't even.
I mean, I don't think Lester's second. I think Uehara would be second.
Yeah,
even.
there's no
I mean,
contest. The team hit like 184 and he hit 900.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I mean, yeah, it's Ortiz.